My name is Florent Souillot. I'm head of digital in Flammarion Gallimard. It's a publishing house in France. And Livres is a subsidiary of our house. It's a distribution platform, and I will show you how it works, LCP, on our platform. We made a strong investment last year to integrate in our digital platform functionalities about LCP. So I will tell you about the French market and French publisher, French distribution, and it will plan the context of our works. So is Readium LCP real? Some key figures about Livres. We're the first ebook distributor in France with more than 120,000 titles distributing. We work with distributors. In France, we say diffuseurs. So Livres is a technical provider for publishers. We build a lot of interconnection with retailers and database and so on, and other services. But here you have the plan, the global plan of our work. And we were the first distributor certified by EDRLab on the LCP server. As you know, on LCP, you have the server side and the app side. So I'm talking here only about distribution and the server side. So today, I'm glad to tell you that more than 80,000 titles are encrypted with LCP, thanks to the hard work made by the Marque, and Jean-Philippe will tell you about that. So all of those brands, publishing houses, the EPUBs are now encrypted and available. So from this point of view, it's quite real. Okay, we made a strong work to convince publishers to explain them how it works, what is it, because as you may know, when we talk about DRM, the publishers is quite interesting, and it's very important for them to understand what is it. We made a strong work on the standardization and on the Onyx structuration. So here is the code on the metadata files and fields that we send to our partners. I think this subject is quite okay now, and we can say that all the catalogs are encrypted, and the information can be interpreted by the retailers. So here you can see the different DRM that we use. It depends on the market, it depends on the publishers, it depends on the sector, but what I want to show you here is that we have a lot of combination, and even during the reading experience, it can change. We use mostly sale APIs, so I don't talk here about Amazon, Apple, and so on and so on. I talk about web services and how we deliver the files to the end consumer or the user in a library. So we provide the same download link with LCPL files at the end. Sorry. And it's the same with the loan APIs that we use, only we have a different structuration because we have the LCP factor and the passphrase generated a file with the license document. So everything is online on the EDRLab website. The big difference with ACS4 is that we can now renew and cancel, finish a loan before the end of the license. And we cannot do that with ACS4, despite all the financial aspects between the two DRM. Smooth transition with ACS4, it was quite a point on the distribution point of view, and we had many debates and questions about it with DDCOM. How can we, make smooth transition between the two? If somebody begin to read with ACS4, for instance, and switch to another app, to another reader, how we can deliver another link on LCPL. So in that case, it's very, very easy. It must be much less easy for the client side and the reading application, but on the distribution side and for the publisher, it will be the same loan. So if you begin with a ACS4 loan, for instance, you can switch to LCP and then come back to ACS4. It will be only one loan. Okay? So in terms of technical integration, it's quite easy. What we wanted to do is to give the publisher the ability to see how it works and to monitor those flows. So as a distributor, it then gives interfaces to manage the accounts on the retailers, on the partners. Publishers can send the catalogs, okay, with the LCP information. They can give agreement to make the order possible for the retailer. And they can also see all the activities through the DRM activation, okay? One of the promise of LCP is that we can adapt the license, okay, depending on the use. So it will be also possible for our publisher. So we are now online. Last week, I was working with the DPUB team to broadcast our notices with LCP. This is a screenshot from le FEL, Fichier Exhaustif du Livre, presenting notices from our catalog. And as you can see here, you have the EPUB file with DRM LCP and LCP. So just to say that it's online, it's available. Everybody can connect and see that, okay? So just to sum up a little bit, over 80,000 titles are now available to end consumers. In fact, now, how about retailers integration? We will talk about Germany, about Canada. In France, it's an issue now. So we need to put the title on a commercial environment. About 60,000 titles are now available for libraries. And depending, is it a dedicated corner in the library system to present them, or on the totally integrated in the integration library system. We will, as Eden, launch a reader, Eden Reader, in this year, in order to extend and to offer another possibility to read those content on LCP. So it will be LCP support, full LCP support with a Readium SDK, based notably on the work made by the Marque. So that's it. LCP is real. All those authors, all those beautiful covers, they're waiting for you. And we need to work now to broadcast and sell those titles. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jean-Philippe Bougie from the Marque. I come from Quebec City, where our offices are. So a little bit about the Marque, so as I don't know if everybody knows about it. So we've been in business for 28 years, and we've been always interested about connecting culture, technology, and people together. So it started, I remember, well, stories about 20 years ago where we were digitizing local magazines and putting them on CDs, and we had people typing in the text so that we could index them for search. And so it's been a long adventure for us to connect these things. We're 50 employees in Quebec City and now in Barcelona, where we just acquired Libranda, a distributing platform for the Spanish market. So we have many different platforms, so always in connecting culture. So we provide distribution platform for our friends at Eden, for example. We also provide tools for retailers, and especially for, which I'll focus on here, is that we provide platforms for public libraries, mostly in Quebec, but also in France, Belgium, Switzerland, and other places. Quebec is often taken as a resounding success of public libraries, because we've, for a small population of 8 million people, we've managed to reach over 6 million loans in the last 5 or 6 years. So in Quebec, it's been seen as a huge success, and I think worldwide you can see that it's quite an impressive achievement. That took a lot of hard work, and a part of that. As a part of my job at the Marque, I also was lucky enough to be involved in the LCP specification itself. So I co-authored the LCP spec with many friends working at Readium. and EDRLab, for example, in the implementation. So, and as a co-author, I'm here to tell you that DRMs are boring. they are not a fun technology to use. They're not to discover and to implement. And especially, DRMs should be boring. They shouldn't be in your face. They shouldn't be something you're aware of. They shouldn't be something that you need to think about when you try to buy or rent stuff. They should just be invisible and thus be boring. But the problem is it hasn't been boring the last few years. We've had many issues. For example, in Quebec City, public libraries are the ones bearing the brunt of the cost of the current DRM provided, which I will not name, but it's amounted to over 800K Canadian dollars that we sent to that company over the years, and it's been an uncountable number of hours of support that we had to do because that company doesn't do support. And especially the thing that hurts us the most is that we feel powerless in that environment. We don't feel like we control our technology. We don't feel like we control our user experience. So we think we say, well, the DRM gods have said that this book won't work, so there's nothing we can do. So what we try to do with LCP is to make it a community project to take that control back into our own hands. And I think that's, for me, that's the most important thing about LCP, and that's the most important thing about our work in Quebec City. But there's always a chicken and egg problem. You have the content, you've got that you need to encrypt, but you've got the apps, and nobody wants to be the first one to move. So I think we've been in that situation and having so many talks over the years at this conference and at other conferences where we say, where do we start? Who's going to make the first move? Who's going to throw the first the first spear, or give the most money, more or less, to it? So the chicken and egg is actually a chicken and egg and something else. It's because there are three pillars to it. The content, which Florent talked a bit about earlier, the acquisition, so in our case, public libraries or retailers are the same, and the reading app. We've been supporting LCP in the content, as he said, and through DPUB and through our own platforms in Quebec in the acquisition side, but the reader has been an issue that's been behind for us. So we made, just like Florent said, we made the content available for everybody. And in that, we established a strong dialogue with publishers to decide the business. So again, we want to take the control back to ourselves. So one of the important aspects was discussing with them that there's a new reality of they can choose the options. They can choose, choose themselves. They choose also with the public libraries to decide which business rules should be applied. So renewal periods, there are a number of renewals. What's a strong passphrase? What's a weak passphrase? So it's been important for us to have an open communication between all the elements of the chain, so that we can decide together as a community to where we want to be. And especially, for example, for public libraries, I could give an example of where, well, if there's a renewal, maybe my user is not valid anymore at that time. So we can decide: do I allow I can let the publisher decide if the renewal is accepted. In the previous case, the black box said that it was accepted or not. So it's open a new avenues for public libraries to integrate and to be part of the process, and not just at the end of the process. So another aspect we focused a lot on is the patron experience. So we want to, like Florent said earlier, we want to make it a smooth transition, but we don't want to scare people away with many different options. So again, DRMs should be boring. So I shouldn't have a list of DRMs and then I have to pick and choose the one that my device supports. So it's been a lot of work and hard decisions, but I think we found some way of making it better. And so what we started developing with the support from the Quebec City public library and the Quebec City in general is to make an app that was focused on having a seamless and integrated experience for the patron. So basically you just enter your account number from your library card and your PIN, and you get access to your catalog. You get access to your loans, your holds. You know, you can get you can see which loans are booked, books that are not available now, but they will be available later. And we decided to do that integrated experience, but we still want to base it on open standards. So it's based on OPDS, it's based on the status document, it's based on LCP and Readium 2, of course. So because we want to show that an integrated experience can be done, but we don't want to block other people from doing the same or doing different stuff for different people. For example, accessibility is very important nowadays. I don't think we are good enough at accessibility, so I want to let the experts in accessibility do their own thing and well, help me, as, of course, if it's a community project, and then we can better our stuff together. So right now we're in focus testing in Quebec City. We have about 50 users that report weekly about their experience, where they see problems and where they see issues and where they could see improvements and stuff like that. And then we're going to release soonish this summer for our public libraries. So the project was with Quebec City, but we're going to release for the whole province and with other partners soon. And one of the aspects that's been very important for us is also creating training materials for and with librarians. So to help them smooth the transition from the old applications to the new model because public librarians also need to be empowered in that knowledge and that they can feel like they know what they're talking about and that they are in control as well. And we have some outstanding issues. A sizable part of our catalog is still with PDFs, so we don't really know right now what we're going to do with them. Jean-François Cusson from the Quebec Public Libraries was telling me that we have about a 30% installed base of old e-readers that have not been updated. So we want to discover where we could work out something. I don't know if you've got any ideas, because we're a bit stumped there. And we want to discover also some user experience issues, like, for example, here, what are the best practices for passphrase that are strong enough, but still easy enough to remember and to take from one device to another. And with that, I would just want to say, let's get back to the fun stuff. Thank you.
So hello, I'm David. I'm leading a company named T, a French company. And I'm here with Rémi, who is the CTO of the company, and Nico from Thalia Tolino Alliance. So we will present you now a solution which will be deployed on the German market for, it will start with libraries in Germany. And it is a solution we call Care and LCP as a service. So we will present you what is this solution, and we will try a demo showing you what is will be soon ready on Tolino devices using this Care solution, which is actually a LCP solution. So first, a few words about T, because I'm not sure you all know this, this French company. So T, for the ebook alternative, we are a technology company. We are also an industrial long-term project and alliance, because this company was launched 7 years ago by leading players on the French book market, like De Cid, Cultura, Système U, and Albin Michel, which is a publisher you all know. T is a company which develops and sells a comprehensive solution to help booksellers to sell digital books. So we not only bring the DRM system, it is part of our solution, but we have really a complete end-to-end solution from the data warehouse, where we have about over 700 K file, I think now, to the end user with also the reading application and so on. And inside this solution, we have the platform, and on this platform, we have our own LCP-based DRM system, which is CARE. Here you have key features about the company. It's still a small company, 20 employees, and our turnover it's about 5.5 million euro this year. So what is CARE? CARE for Content and Author Rights Environment, and it is LCP as a service solution. So it's a software as a service solution for deployment of Readium LCP from end to end. By end to end, I mean from the server where the distributor hosts the content to the end user into the reading app or in the e-reader. Plus some extra features that we integrate in CARE, like strong authentication, SSO with the authentication on the library or the bookseller website, plus PDF encryption for PDF files, plus other features of reading that we add in the Readium SDK. But all these extra features are really using the LCP system. I mean, when we do strong authentication, we put some elements in the license, the LCP license, for instance. So CARE is a solution for digital book platform and distributors, publishers, booksellers, and e-readers and application vendors that could be interested in integrating LCP easily and seamlessly. So what is this CARE solution? It's actually 3 components. The main component is the server. So it is the only part in T infrastructure, this server. It is a LCP server. It is a Readium LCP certified. It is in our infrastructure, but we do not need the content. The content can remain in the infrastructure of the distributor. We do not need also authentication system. We rely on the system of the library or the bookseller, and we provide what we call a publication manager, which actually is a piece of software that you deploy in the infrastructure where the content are hosted. And we develop also an SDK on top on the Readium SDK to add specific extra feature that I mentioned previously. In terms of architecture and the scenario, which actually we will present in the demo, here is the map. We have the T infrastructure here with a CARE server, and there is an API for communication with other part of the solution. Here is the distributor infrastructure, so it's not T infrastructure there. It is the content provider hosting the digital book files. This is the reading environment. In our presentation, it will be Tolino e-reader in the end of the end user. And you have the bookseller or the library on this side. So first step, the content provider references all available content for LCP. This is the first step. Then when the bookseller sell a book or a library rent a book, then this entity asks for the license to T server and send it to the device, still using the API here. Then third part, the end user want to read the book, so he need to download first time the book. So he download the book directly from the content provider and authenticates. This is extra feature. If we are in the CARE environment, we will not use directly the passphrase here, but the login and password of the user in the library or the bookseller website. And as soon as it's authenticated, then he can ask for the key at the first connection, the LCP key to the server, still using this API. And of course, here, we don't have authentication here, but we can check the authorization from the library or the bookseller to authorize the access to the LCP key. So this is also the extra feature, what we call SSO, or strong authentication system. It respects the LCP license, so everything use let's say the classic LCP flows. But if, of course, this e-reader is not compatible with CARE, but is using standard LCP only, then of course the same file can work with the passphrase, because the end user always has is pass-through as a fold-down system. So just before the demo, short word about who is using or will use this year this care as a service, LCP as a service solution. First of all, we are the first user of our system because we are not, as I said, only developing this DRM system. It is something that we developed in 2015, first for our own platform. So it's already used for in France, Switzerland, and Belgium by all those customers that we have on the platform. And you can see here, but now it is deployed on, it will be deployed on other platforms, EDRLab from Albin Michel in France, and DPUB in Germany. So DPUB is a market leader of libraries in Germany. It's about, we talk about 20 million loans each year, so it's a huge deployment. And e-readers and application also are using this technology. So of course, T product, but also Pocketbook e-readers in few weeks. And Tolino, we will present you the beta version today. And Léa, which is the application of EDRLab in France. So let's go for the demo. So in this demo, we present you this kind of implementation. In this situation, the distributor and the library use the same platform, which is DPUB platform. We will use the care server, which is Readium LCP certified, and we will read using our SDK on a Tolino device. So I asked Rémi to start the presentation with a short presentation of the interface to administrate the care server, so you can see how we manage the licenses and things like that. And then I will ask Nico to open a book on a Tolino reader using the login password of DPUB on top of LCP.
Hello. Hello. Yeah. Okay. It will be short, very short. Keep calm. This is a small user interface about the care server, the administration. I am admin, and you can see all the publications sent by DPUB. This is all examples. You can see that there is PDF and EPUB files. All these publications are sent by the publication manager, and we don't host the content in the care server. The encrypted content is on the DPUB data warehouse. And there is here the licenses, the request licenses, and we can show yes, the related publication, the status, the user, and the extra thing, the rights. You can see that it's a loan here, and we have an alerting system when we reach year 10 registration. We can send mail, we can notify the booksellers or the data provider saying, oh, there is more than 10, maybe there is misuse or an abuse, and maybe we have to revoke the license. So this is not it is not blocked, the reading, but it can alert the data provider or the bookseller. Then is it a SaaS solution? So if you want to have a demo test on your own content, we are open to open you an account, and there is documentation about the API, very rich with some you can copy paste and try all the call to the web service. So I can show you and explain you all the call, but so there is application. It's easy to integrate. I think a couple of weeks, and we can have publication ready and LCP license, and next jump to the application. So Nico.
So now the presentation with the Tolino reader. So we finished the development on Monday, so it is a beta version. We hope nothing crash. But it's a demo, so.
Should I? Or what would you like? Okay. So we are here in a situation we show in the chart before where the user already downloaded the EPUB or the ebook file and has it now on the device. And to copy your words, hopefully it's a boring demo. So after that's because of the demo. It's not part of the use case. So that's the part where the user have to insert his credentials. And the thing here is it's not the passphrase. That are the credentials from the library in this use case. So let me try. It's a little bit heavy from this angle. Okay. Switch to the password.
So the same file used on a device which is not compatible with CARE, but using the standard LCP, is not able to show this screen, so it will move to the passphrase. Okay, so you have first you test to use the account of the user on the bookseller website, but if it's not possible on this device, then you fall down to the passphrase because it's a LCP file, so it works like LCP.
Exactly. So. And now we are in the book with Readium LCP and read the content, etc. And if we go back, it will take a second and we will open the book again, then we are in and it's already done. And hopefully boring forever.
Just to explain, this is an OAuth authentication, and the first time you have a file from the I don't think Darmstadt library, you enter your login password and never enter login password again if you loan on the same library. And so we manage token and token exchange with the DPUB infrastructure. So you enter your login password one time and then never.
So maybe there are questions. I just can say that I had many licenses from the T server to check. So this kind of license on Lisa, Baobab, our own application. Well, it's interoperable, it works. I'm asked the password, or the passphrase, and it's done. So I won't test with this one because we don't have the time, but I'm sure it would work. Are there any questions about these presentations? Something you would like to know? We've got a bit of time. Or you are so convinced that... It was a boring presentation. Je fais le tour.
Hi there. My question is, if I buy from another shop or somebody else has that kind of DRM, I have to put down the credentials as well, haven't I?
Yeah. Typically here in France, for instance, we use the same technology for Cultura, as I said. So, for instance, if you buy a book, a digital book on the Cultura website, and then you download it and put it on the Tolino, then you will see this same authentication system asking you your login and password on Cultura.com, which is a place where you bought your digital book. And if you use the same file on for instance, Baobab, which is a LCP certified application, but not using extra feature as CARE proposed, then we will ask you for the passphrase and not the authentication on Cultura website. Yeah, so the passphrase is communicate exactly like Eden does, or the players, or the servers. It means it is in the administration of the server that you define your passphrase when you configure your LCP server on care server, and then you give this passphrase to the end user using the same way.
In the T case, the case of the T server at the moment, it's the email of the user which will be used as a passphrase. There, Jean-Philippe talked about one open question for all the license providers, which is which are the best practices for helping a user to have a passphrase he can remember. So an email is something people remember. And some other implementations, it will be a set of questions that will be asked by the bookseller before in the profile of the user. What is your preferred book? This kind of stuff. And the user will answer the question, and it will be his passphrase. A passphrase is something that can be with spaces. This is why it's not a password, it's a passphrase. So it can be a title of a book, it can be anything, any string. No more questions? So in such a case, we will thank you for your presentations.